Right now we're going to talk about revenge porn.
Boy, maybe you're not familiar with this, but it's raging all over the internet. A guy and a girl will have sex and videotape it, and then they break up, and the guy is so bitter. He puts the sex tapes of his girlfriend up on the internet.
Well, it can be something other than that, too. It can just be like a sexting photo that your girlfriend sent you. And you kept it, and then after you broke up, you decided, screw her, I'm going to post it on the internet.
Yeah, but I mean, the most damaging stuff is the video. And I had no idea why people allow themselves to be videotaped having sex when you have a tenuous relationship with someone you don't know very well.
Don't we all want to star in porn?
No, I wouldn't want to see myself.
Well,
I really, honest to God, I don't get that. I don't get watching yourself.
There's no mirrors in your bedroom.
No, I don't want to see me.
and anyway, there's a state senator by the name of Anthony Cadella from Modesto who actually has proposed a piece of legislation that would amend the penal code and make it a crime to cause substantial emotional distress or humiliation to others by distributing over the internet nude images of them along with personal identifying information, because some of these websites include email addresses and cell phone numbers. Really?
Oh, yeah. No, the guys, and it's mostly guys, are so angry and bitter. They put all the private information so that all the crazy perverts and kooks in the world can call the girlfriend up and torture her. Now, it seems like that ought to be illegal, but the ACLU is fighting it, claiming it's First Amendment right to do such things.
We're going to talk to Charlotte Laws now. She actually emailed us and she gave testimony for this bill in Sacramento, and I guess she has personal reasons for doing that. So let's get Charlotte on the show. Charlotte, welcome to the John and Ken Show.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Why did you get involved in this?
Well, last January of 2012, my daughter's email got hacked, and she had taken a topless photo of herself in her room, and she had sent it through her email to her computer. And the hacker was simply looking for nude and topless pictures, which was then, this picture was uploaded to a revenge porn website about 7 days later, along with one of her friends who was also hacked at the same time. And that's how I got involved. I mean, she was absolutely traumatized. She was like a rape victim. She curled up in a ball. She didn't want to leave her room.
Was she contacted by anybody that noticed it?
Yeah, she was. She was actually, when she found out about it, she was waitressing. She had a part-time job as a waitress. And one of her friends called her while she was working and said, this is really important. Stop working. Go outside. I have to tell you something. And so she did. And that's when she found out. And she was absolutely distraught. She poured water on a customer. She was so upset. When her manager found out, she said, I can fire you for this. It was really traumatic. And I used to be a private investigator, so I started investigating this website. And I found out over a 2-week period of time that 40% of the pictures on the site had been hacked. And it was all from the same hacker. So I started an FBI investigation of this particular site. And they raided the website owner's house. He was just outside Sacramento, is where he lives. They raided the house last summer, but still nothing has happened as far as arrests. And it's just really a big problem. I mean, there's so many victims out there, but victims don't want to come forward because they're very embarrassed to be associated with these pictures. And so it doesn't seem like there are a lot of victims, but there's thousands of them.
Oh, yeah. No, there's been a huge craze of people taping themselves having sex, huge hacking craze going on to try to grab photos like your daughter's. There's a lot of material out there, and there's a big market for guys who want to watch this stuff.
Exactly. And I mean, some of the people, they can take someone's head and they can Photoshop a nude body on, and they not only send, like you were talking about how they put the phone number on the internet, they'll put your boss's phone number, they'll put your parents' email address. If you have children, they'll send it out to your kids' friends. I mean, their goal is to ruin your life. It's not to look at pornography. This has nothing to do with pornography.
Is it true that some of them try to extort people to take the photos down?
Yeah, they do, actually. There was a site called Is Anybody Down who was pretty much caught doing that, and they've shut down the site now. And when the FBI raid happened this last summer, the site that my daughter was on, that one was shut down also. Not by the FBI, but the guy, they're very afraid of law enforcement, and that's why a law is needed, because right now, really the only thing you can do is go after civil penalties. But the problem is that these guys, almost all afraid of civil suits. They don't even show up in court for them because they don't care. But they're very afraid of law enforcement. They're very afraid of going to jail. And so that's why we need a tool for law enforcement, and also something that will hopefully prevent people from doing this in the first place.
So are these like suburban guys living in their parents' house?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So these aren't like gang members, tough guys.
No.
These are just the wieners of the world who can hide in the basement and cause this kind of mayhem.
Exactly. That's who they are, and it's amazing how many followers they have. And if you saw these sites, you saw the comments put on these sites, you just wouldn't even believe it. You wouldn't believe how some people have killed themselves over this. There was a girl, Audrey Pott, in California who killed herself. There was a girl in Canada who killed herself. I mean, people, it's really, when you do a search on your name, and the first thing that comes up are nude photographs, and what does it do? It propagates all over the internet. The rest of your life, you're going to be monitoring the internet for your photos.
Well, yeah, I wanted to talk about that because once it appears on one site, it then spreads to all these other sites. Other guys steal these photos, link these photos, and it multiplies, by the hundreds.
Exactly. It definitely can. And a lot of people like to blame the victim and say, oh, well, they should have taken the picture in the first place. But you got to understand that you can't, what we used to do in the olden days is blame the rape victim. So we can't be blaming the victims. One of the pictures was a girl who was attacked from Atlanta who had bandages all over her breast because she had just had breast surgery. And that's her picture that ended up online. The only person who had seen it was her doctor. There are pictures that have ended up online that people never sent to a guy, including my daughter. So it's not something where we want to blame the victim. We really want to put a stop to it.
No, but we, young girls especially ought to be told very strongly that it is not a good idea to ever have pictures taken of you or video, let alone posted up in any form, because there's too many bad guys out there. There's just a lot of... One thing I've learned about the internet, boy, is I had no idea how many sick, angry, ugly, stupid guys there are who want to commit all kinds of torture.
Mm-hmm. And people can do it anonymously.
They do it anonymously, and they do it for sport, and they really get off. They really think it's funny.
All right, so this bill would make it a misdemeanor, right, Charlotte?
It would make it a misdemeanor, and the reason why it's not being written or brought forth as a felony is because of realignment, which has to do with the fact that our prisons are so full, and State Senator Cannella felt that he wouldn't be able to get it passed as a felony because they basically have a moratorium on anything that is a felony.
No new crimes, huh?
That's the second time we ran into that this week, John. Remember our guest, Will Lynch, the other day?
Right.
Who wanted to go after child molesters, but he was told that a bill failed a few years ago for the same reasons.
Yeah.
They want to make sure the prisons don't get more filled up.
That realignment thing is really bad.
All right, Charlotte, thanks for talking to us. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, that's Charlotte Laws, whose own daughter apparently was a victim of what they call a revenge porn. The toll-free number, 1-800-520-1534.
John and Ken show on KFI, and Shannon has the news.